How you doing, guys? It's ZDEyE here. So I definitely want to bring in this topic regarding of the, well, how can I say, an unfinished games, okay? Now, it's really is up to you to decide if this is necessarily is an unfinished certain aspects that are missing from the title when it initially launched. I'm specifically talking about like not having an introduction or not even having anything related towards the new Game Plus mode for say like Spider-Man 2 or perhaps Assassin's Creed Mirage, maybe even God of War Ragnarok, you know, just there and then on day one. So it kind of makes the question like, okay, what if you pick up the physical copy of the game, and of course in this case you are simply not going to have this, well, these features in it, other of course than if you update it. But if you don't have the internet connection, or perhaps maybe you choose to, for whatever the reason, not to update the game, then in that case, well, you're out of luck, unfortunately. And in this case, it still kind of brings in the question in mind, well, should games from now on just have the new Game Plus mode available right then and there on day one of the release of the game? It doesn't really matter which game, right? It doesn't have to be PlayStation exclusive, it could be Xbox exclusive, it could be anything related to it, right? Now, I'm not gonna sit here and just say, like, for example, that this is unacceptable, why does this keep happening? Because there are some games, obviously, that do come with the new Game Plus mode right there and there on day one. And that's awesome, because this also means a more replayability value, this also means a game preservation, and of course, this also means that, well, you don't actually need to access an online mode or multiplayer to update the game or to get the patch in or fixes or whatnot, and just simply play the game in your own merit, on your own volition, and just have enjoyment time, and if you want to, replay it for the new Game Plus mode as well. It's also quite kind of, how can I say, frustrating, especially when there's a game that comes out as a single player title. You play it, you finish it, maybe you even platinum it, but then you don't know if you should expect a new Game Plus mode coming out soon, or perhaps maybe new DLCs or some sort of extra content. This actually same thing just happened recently with God of War Ragnarok, and it released with its Valhalla a free DLC, but you never knew that there will be a free DLC for this game. You thought that Sony Santa Monica will be continuing and making their continuation to God of War, perhaps an Atreus game or something like that. You see, like, we did know there will be something, but yet in this case, well, what is that something? When is that something? And on top of that, wait, so you need to have God of War Ragnarok just so you can actually play this Valhalla free DLC. In this case, what if you already sold the copy? Whatever the reason may be. Like, in my case, why I'm intimidated by this is actually that I already kind of have moved on from this game, kind of, right? I'm not gonna say it's just like I definitely never gonna be coming back. No, that's not true. I will come back and I will play it. But I just like, I have to relearn the whole mechanic, the controls, the muscle memory, and it's a little bit of a bother as well. And you know, when there's a content, it's like concentrated for higher end content, like say the end game content, of course you'll need to be already quite versed with the mechanics, the gameplay, the combat, the button layout on your controller, and it does take quite some time, and especially when you don't have much time in this case, and like, you know, to play video games. In this case, you'd be like saying, well, great, why couldn't have you released this a little bit earlier, or perhaps on day one or something like that, or perhaps you could have at least told us that there will be DLC. It's also quite possible that the developers or whoever, it's just they didn't even know they're gonna be making this. And so yeah, that's all I really wanted to bring into this conversation, just to have a little bit of a thought. You know, what is the decision and the resolution that could have been made? Delaying the game, that's one of them, of course, or just continuing with this, and perhaps maybe even the developers themselves are not aware that they're going to be putting this into it. And of course, you know, it still is an interesting conversation to have. Now, nevertheless, do let me know what you think about it as well. Like and subscribe. See you guys all. Have a wonderful day.